My name's Jamie Lee, and today I'll be doing a review of the latest video game adaptation to hit our screens, Twisted Metal, streaming on Peacock, or if you live in Australia, streaming on Stan. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you here and tell you that I was not going to watch this series. I heard that there was a new series coming out starring Anthony Mackie, and obviously I was interested. And then I watched the trailer and I saw that there was this psycho killing clown in it, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. Nope. That's literally what my nightmares are made of. So there was no way I was watching this, but then I was forced to watch episode 1 and I was hooked. This was ridiculously fun, so fun, and it was such a blast that we ended up watching 10 episodes in 2 nights. So it was just a really good time and I really enjoyed watching Twisted Metal. As an Xbox player, obviously I haven't played the games because they're over on PlayStation, but what I remember from the games is that they were very focused on cars, racing, tournaments, and I honestly thought that this series might be a Fast and the Furious, but a series. And I wouldn't have been too interested in that because I'm not really interested in cars. But surprisingly, this was not what I expected. This show had a lot of comedy that landed. I mean, the comedy was very goofy, very silly, but that's what lands with me. That's the type of humor that I enjoy. There was a lot of action still, lots of car chases and things like this. It was very gory, which I enjoy, I guess, because I like The Walking Dead and I like The Boys, so I can't really knock it for that. But the thing that surprised me the most is the fact that this show had a lot of heart. As I said, I haven't played the games, but the plot was really easy to follow for somebody who doesn't know anything about the franchise and is just basing everything off an assumption. We enter this post-apocalyptic dystopia, and I know what you're probably thinking, yeah, we've seen it all before, The Walking Dead, The Last of Us, Zombieland, but I feel like this show's very different to those movies and shows because those ones are really focused on surviving and all about survival, and I mean, this is about survival as well because you kind of need to do that to live, right? But I feel like the end game in this series was to deliver this package or retrieve this package by a deadline. So we're going on this journey through this wasteland and there was an end goal to it rather than it just being about simply surviving. In fact, the plot doesn't really explain too much at all about how the world came to shit. It just explained that one day the power went out and people on the inside of these communities, they separated and segregated from the rest of the world, and those on the outside of the walls became these feral scavengers who literally did whatever they could in order to survive. So the wealthy settlements, I guess you could call them, they would trade with each other, and the people who made those trades were the milkmen, which is where we're introduced to the best milkman, the best delivery man of them all, John Doe. And because he's the best delivery driver or milkman, he is approached by Raven, played by Neve Campbell, and she's one of the leaders of these settlements. So she promises him this new life, this fresh start full of all the normalities of life, really, like brushing your teeth and eating and having 3-ply toilet paper. But these things in an apocalypse are obviously a luxury that he doesn't have. So he goes on this mission to deliver this package or do a trade and retrieve this package by a deadline in order to have this fresh start, this new life behind these walls on the inside. So at the beginning of John's journey, he's almost robbed by this character who later he names Quiet, played by Beatriz. And on their journey through this feral wasteland together, we are introduced to some very twisted groups or individuals. We get to meet some cannibalistic butchers. We meet Sweet Tooth, the killing clown, which literally I had nightmares over. My gosh. Sweet Tooth is played by Seanoa and voiced by Arnett. There is also a cult leader, or this preacher, played by Mantzoukas. He has these holy men who like to wear these black leather masks and be whipped by women and hump cars, because that's totally normal. There's people who collect people's body parts as souvenirs, and then there's a wannabe law enforcement who try to bring law and order to this feral wasteland. They don't do a very good job of it though, because one of their torturing tactics is using Barbie girls' aqua to torture people. That wouldn't have been torture for me. I would have been like, yeah, turn it up, Stu, this is a banger. But that's just me. Anyway, this series was written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who were the writers of Deadpool and Zombieland. So if you're very into the comedy and the humor that was in Deadpool and Zombieland, then you are definitely going to appreciate the comedy and the humor that's in Twisted Metal. I enjoyed both of those movies. I like the campy, the cheesy, the ridiculously dumb jokes. They land with me funny and I enjoyed it. So if you like that sort of stuff, then you're probably going to enjoy it as well. Even though this series is described as being an action comedy, and I just said that there's a lot of comedy in this, it's really fun, there's also still a lot of emotion between the two main characters, being John and Quiet. They have a lot of really meaningful and heartfelt moments together. But just as equally, the other characters got a lot of screen time and really good character arcs, which was really interesting because you weren't just rooting for the two main characters, you know, even these side characters you felt connected to, or you wanted to see die at some point, or you felt some sort of empathy towards. All of them had a really good character arc and all served a purpose towards the main story. They also really smoothly use flashbacks in order to show us a little bit more of characters' backstories or their origins, and that fills in the gaps for people like me who haven't played the game and don't know anything about these characters at all. For example, we get some flashback scenes with John and his relationship with his car Evelyn, and again I want to go back to the having emotion and having heart part, because these scenes, I did not think I would be getting emotional and feeling things about a guy and his relationship with a car, but I really was. Like, there was so much heart in the story, but there was also so much heart in the delivery as well. So yeah, there were some really heartfelt moments between John and Evelyn, his car. We also get some flashbacks with Quiet and her brother and how they survived when the world turned to shit. They went and served for these wealthy communities. These people owned them, I guess you could say. And that was a really good perspective to see how the people on the inside lived, and also how these wealthy people from the inside treated the survivors on the outside. We got some flashbacks with Sweet Tooth, so we got to see a little bit about how he became the murderous clown that he is, and why he really appreciates putting on a show and why he's obsessed with performing. I really did enjoy the scenes with Sweet Tooth. To be fair, half the time my eyes were covered like this and I was just listening and peeking every now and again, because honestly I am terrified of freaking clowns, but this clown was just so likable and had so much character and charisma that every scene with Sweet Tooth I just really enjoyed. The other vital flashbacks were with Agent Stone, who's played by Thomas Haden Church, and these flashbacks showed what his life was like prior to the world turning to shit as well, where he wasn't respected or appreciated as this mall cop, and he really wanted to be respected as a police officer like his father had been. He was taken advantage of and treated like crap, so much so pre-apocalypse that in the apocalypse his ego and, you know, his mission was to be this respected and this person with authority. So he recruited this law enforcement squad to try and bring law and order to the chaotic new world that they found themselves in. And some of these characters, again, had really good story arcs. His right-hand man was Agent Shepard, played by Bankens, who played a very cocky, very intimidating police officer, but happened to probably get the most gruesome death of them all in the series. He was fantastic. Tahj Vaughans was incredible with his delivery of Mike, a new recruit to the police force. There was also Sweet Tooth's bestie, Stu. He was played by Mike Mitchell. He was an extremely likable character as well. He really reminded me of Stingray from Cobra Kai, like this really funny, really likable guy that you're really rooting for. Along the way, we meet some allies to John and some maniacs who try and stop him on his mission. I really enjoyed watching the scenes with the truck rigs and how they enhanced and modified the cars all from inside these big trucks. Those scenes were really cool. It was there that we were introduced to some other new characters. Miranda, played by Jamie Newman, and Amber. Again, they had really good story arcs. They were really warm and likable characters, and thankfully we're going to see them in the future because it looks like they're set up to be in future spin-offs and things like that. So that's really good. I thought the soundtrack for this was absolutely amazing. It had bangers from the 90s, the 2000s. It was so good. My favorite soundtrack is Guardians of the Galaxy. Pretty much every Guardians movie has a killer soundtrack, but this one is definitely right up there. Every song was a hit. It was so much fun to listen to, and it really did give me that Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, I guess, when Peter was fighting Ronan and instead he used the dance-off battle as a distraction. Kind of gave me vibes in this when Sweet Tooth was about to kill John and he was just throwing him around like a rag doll. And then Thong Song by Cisco comes on and they both stop so that they can sing the lyrics. It was really dumb, but here's an example of the sense of humor that I'm talking about and things that I find stupid but funny, is when John was convincing Sweet Tooth that he really does like Cisco. He really does like this song. And he's like,
I listened to Unleash the Dragon so many times the disc broke.
So relatable and so funny. But yeah, that's the dumb sense of humor that I'm talking about. But that scene there did remind me of, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy and having this dance off or this sing off in order to save your life. It was so much fun and it just worked. I thought the action parts of this were really entertaining. The car chases were a lot of fun. The battle at the end was really good with the cars. I liked, as I mentioned before, the truck rigs and how they enhanced the cars and things like that. That was really interesting. And I really did like Sweet Tooth's ice cream van, and then at the top he's got like the cute little clown, cute if clowns are cute, sure, and his eyes shot out rockets. I thought that was really fun as well. So it was like enough car but not too much car for somebody like me, so it was really good to watch. This series was extremely gory, ridiculously funny. The acting was on point, and as I said, the story and the acting both had so much heart, and it made the series not only entertaining but also really heartfelt as well. And it really made me want to see a second season, which it looks like we're going to get, because they gave us that ambiguous ending to keep us hanging there. Is Stone dead? Is he not? More than likely Sweet Tooth's coming back, right? And we were introduced to some other new characters who it looks like they're going to face off in the Battle of the Milkman or the Battle of the Best Drivers in a real Twisted Metal tournament. And I am all here for it. I am into some more twisted shit. And some more Twisted Metal for season 2, because I did not expect to enjoy this as much as I did. It was a blast. It was so much fun, and I really am looking forward to a season 2 of it. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you've played the game, if it differs to the series, or if you haven't played the game at all and you've just watched the series like me, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I absolutely loved it. And if you can, like this video, and if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel and then head on over to my Instagram and give me a follow over there as well, please. Okay, sweet ass, have a good day. Bye.